Welcome back to Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel, coming to you from the Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice. We check in with them about this time every year as November is Hospice Month. And I'm now joined by no stranger to YCN, Cathy Raymond, who's the Development Officer here. Hello, Cathy.
Hey, Abby. How are you?
Great to check in with you as always. Thank you for always hosting us around this time. You have a new event this year that's honoring Hospice Month. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, well, for a little context, in the past, we've had 2 or 3 different events during Hospice Month, which is nationally the month of November.
Sure.
So we have done, the main things we've done historically is the time of remembrance, which is a time to remember people whose loved one who've passed away in our hospice program over the past year.
Okay.
And then we've done the hospice dinner, which was a 30-plus year event at the Millstone. Shout out to Tom Mills and Rich Stockwell, because they really made that happen for a long time. And that happened for, I think it was 32 years.
Wow.
And that was to, you know, it was a small fundraiser, but really to get people together to celebrate and honor hospice. Sure. And then we did some smaller things like a craft fair and a Hospice Lights program, which was a small fundraiser. And then COVID hit, and we stopped doing all those things. Yeah. And so it's been 3 years since we've done those traditional separate events. So it was a perfect opportunity to come back and say, let's maybe do something a little bit different that might engage more of the community. So we're combining elements of the Hospice Lights, and the philosophy behind Hospice Lights is like the light of every life.
Okay.
And the hospice dinner, breaking bread together. Okay. And the time of remembrance, honoring those people who passed away, which is really kind of the centerpiece, which is kind of the most important thing during Hospice Month, into one bigger event at Colby Sawyer. Amazing. In the Ware Campus Center, of course. Yes. And so the hope is, you know, maybe more people, maybe some different people will come to hear about hospice, to hear from hospice families and staff. Definitely. To enjoy, you know, some time together. It's on November 7th, which is a Tuesday. Okay. And it's 5:30 to about 7:30, give or take. Yeah. And it's a test, but I think it's going to be wonderful because there's music. These are traditional things we've always done. There's readings, there's music, there's honoring the lives. Sure. And then we're doing an indoor, this is going to be the most interesting part, an indoor memory garden. Because you've seen memory gardens at churches and things. And they're typically gardens outside. Yes. But we're going to kind of create an indoor garden where people can go and see the names of those who have passed and maybe just walk around. And so we're not quite sure exactly how it's going to come together, but I'm sure it will. And were you having a lot of people, because we've talked in other interviews about hospice care here, that there's really a community after someone passes away. There's so many resources for the family. Were you hearing that people were missing those sort of ways to get together as a community with COVID because you weren't able to do those events? Well, we still did the bereavement mailings and calls and those kind of things. So for the general community, if your loved one died in our hospice program, you have the option to receive bereavement for support for up to 14 months after the death. Right. And that's generally mailings, resources, sometimes meetings, check-ins. So we still did those. But what people do miss, and we're still doing them virtually, are the support groups. Absolutely. So we do bereavement support groups, and we're still doing those, and at the moment they're still virtual. So we do get feedback, you know, that it's, you know, it would be nice to come together in person, but they seem to work fairly well. We still get people coming virtually. So I'm not sure when that's going to change. So I have gotten a little bit of that. Yep. And then the hospice dinner. Those who love it, love it. That's what I'm thinking of, is that people must just really want it to be part of their every November as a way to kind of honor. And so one of the things that COVID took away from us is the opportunity to get together like that. So I'm sure people are very thrilled that this is back. Right. And I've had 3 or 4 people reach out and say, is this event replacing the hospice dinner? You're still doing the hospice dinner? So yes, it is. We're not going to do both. Okay. So we're gonna combine all those elements and do it in one bigger event that we hope maybe we can have a few more people, maybe some different people. You know, the hospice dinner was a wonderful event, and it was at the Millstone for all those years. But the space was limited. Right. And there's no particular reason we're not going back, except we haven't done it for a number of years. And so it seemed like an opportunity to try something. I think it's great. Try something new. Before I let you go, just briefly for those watching, talk about the hospice program here at the VNA, because it's such an amazing opportunity. It is amazing. We'd need an hour or more to talk about all that. We would. But people are so enormously grateful, and because it's so deeply personal. And the hospice team, just to be on a hospice team, you have to be just a special kind of person.
You do.
And the classic thing I always say is people kind of know what hospice is. They have a general idea. They think, most people think it's very important, but until you go through it yourself, and you see what the team does for you.
Sure.
So the team is the support for the patient and the family. One thing the community does need to know: it's not 24/7 care. It's not like you have a team in your home all the time.
Sure.
They come in for visits. They're on call 24/7 if you need them, but they're just an extra layer of support to get you through the whole process.
Amazing.
And they really are.
I never even knew. We interviewed the music therapist one time.
Yes.
Oh, never even thought that you could have music part of your hospice experience.
Right.
So there's so many elements to it. I know we could talk about it forever and ever.
At some point, you should have like one of the nurses or on the hospice team, because there's just to tell a couple of stories.
And they're
incredible.
all the most lit up, kind, wonderful people, and you're like, and you do something that's just so thankless, honestly. I mean, just that they can have such a presence about them, and that's why I think they are perfect for the job. It's always great to check in with you.
So let me remind, the date is Tuesday, November 7th. It is $75 a person, because there's food and drink.
Sure.
But there's also readings and music and stories. I think it's going to be nice. And people can, there's ads in the shopper, of course, and on our website. But
of course. They
can always call the VNA and talk to me if they have any questions.
Sounds great. Well, Cathy, thanks for checking in with us as always.
Absolutely. Thank you, Abby.
When we return, Ashley Rowley, the Executive Director of our Lake Sunapee Region Chamber of Commerce, will join me to give us a taste of a new event coming up soon. So stay with us on Your Yankee Chronicle.
This program is supported by Main Street Bookends of Warner. For books, toys, games, cards, gifts, and a gallery of local art. Main Street Bookends of Warner.